I'm sorry. Hey, y'all, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy, James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not going to happen this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello, beautiful people. Like, share, subscribe, support James. He's black, and we love black people. That's all.
Power to the people. Yes, no, please subscribe to my channel, especially if you like what you see. I get a lot of viewers, but definitely y'all are not subscribing to me. So please subscribe, especially if you like what you're seeing. And then while you're subscribing to me, go ahead and subscribe to Mrs. Best, because any reviews or recaps I'm not covering on my channel, it's because we cover it on her channel. We have Basketball Wives. We have The Valley, Real Housewives of Miami. She just told me today she is going to go over Deb's house that premieres in August. And then also we have King's Court in July. So Mrs. Best got a lot going on, and y'all not going to want to miss her channel. I promise you. Because our commentary, especially on those shows, be on here. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And also, while you subscribe to both of us, we ask for one more little favor. Subscribe to Shana_MCD here on YouTube. This is her current channel and also her new channel. She is trying to get both channels monetized, and we want to make sure we show Shana some love. We want her to stay here on YouTube. We don't want her to go anywhere. So please subscribe to her channel. Show her some love and be sure to tell her that James sent you. All right. And already, Naya is here. Already. We love you, Naya. Thank you for being here. One of our original fucking cousins. She was here from the beginning of my channel and is still rocking with me 2 years later. Thank you, Naya. I love you.
Naya really is. We're getting to that age where we're going to start having like our day ones and all of that. That Naya really is a cousin, though. That's my thugging cousin. Wait till I come to her.
She been here from the beginning. Naya was, if not the first one, like one of the first ones on my channel that has been consistently here. Like from the beginning, like from the first few videos, Naya has been here from the beginning. So it has been 2 years, Naya. Can you believe it? It has been 2 years. It was 2 years in April that me and Mrs. Best decided to take this leap of faith and do YouTube together. We have been talking about it since we was in our early 20s.
Yeah.
So finally we were like, hey, we're in our 30s now. Let's go ahead and do it. So yes, it has been 2 years, Naya, since you've been rocking with us. I remember you from the beginning. So yes, you always have a place in my heart. I can't wait to meet you in real life one day. So we're going to hold that there. We're going to speak that into existence. God hear it so we can make it happen. So, Real Housewives of Atlanta. This was the season finale. It has been titled Game Over. Oh, thank you. We love you too. It's been titled Game Over. I'm going to tell y'all like this. They come back with some bullshit. I think it was Cynthia who said it. I believe it was Cynthia, y'all. Charge it to my mind and not my heart, but I feel like it was Cynthia that said Phaedra came back with vengeance. Phaedra came back and read the fuck out of somebody, and y'all are going to see it. We have reached the end of the pinnacle of this episode, and we have not seen it. And I know you was not talking about the go back and forth between her and Angela, which we'll get into at the end of this episode, because if anything, Angela read the fuck out of her.
We have learned. So when Cynthia left the show, a lot of people felt like, okay, her story is complete. I believe James said it, Shana saying it, thousands of people said it, right? So we're like, okay, but if we think about Cynthia's tenure when on Housewives of Atlanta, from the very beginning for her to now, I'm not surprised by any of it. Cynthia is known to say some bullshit. She'll spread mess and lies and act innocent. But before, it was more her trying to just kiss the ass of her friends, aka Nene or Kenya. Now it seems like she's doing all of this foolery just to make fetch happen. And at this point, this show is fetch and the shit's not going to happen. They have potential. I did feel like that by the end of this episode, but I don't trust anything that Cynthia says in an interview, because in one instance, if you go on Hulu, you can find Cynthia talking so much shit about how this is not a good experience to be on Housewives and all the bad things that comes with being a reality TV star. But then in the next moment, she's running back to it whenever a check is available because her wigs are all slipping. So I'm tired of Cynthia's mouth. And if this show does survive for another season, they have to get rid of Cynthia. They just do.
I just no, and you know what? I know Phaedra's not going anywhere. Andy said it out of his own mouth. Phaedra's not going anywhere, so we might as well get used to her. Even if the operative were to come back of Candy, she's not going anywhere. So I'm feeling like, you know what? But all that aside, Phaedra coming back was an epic fail. Was an epic fail. I don't know why y'all thought she was going to give and she didn't. So we're gonna get into that. So, but I just had to open that up, you know. And speaking of Phaedra, Portia and Lauren go over to Phaedra's house, and we are, you know, still hit with, you know, the stages of Londi's death. I guess Londi's mother and sister put the funeral arrangements in Portia and Lauren's hands for them to do the funeral because they weren't up to it. So they decided to hit up Phaedra because, you know, Phaedra is a doctor of mortuary science. You know, she actually is a doctor now. She can go to Married to Medicine and actually have the legit title now. But anywho, they go over to her, and, you know, Phaedra got that bob wig. You know, she wear that bob wig when she either in court or she, you know, is selling something. That's that famous bob wig that she has. So they go over to Phaedra's house, and they're eating, and, you know, they're talking about Londi's final days. We learned that Lauren was actually on the phone with her as she transitioned, which that is so scary to me. Like, there's nothing I think more hard than to hear someone take their last breath and to actually see someone take their last breath. I don't know which would be worse in the circumstance, but I know that could not be easy for Lauren to have to relive that because that could be traumatizing. So we are wishing the best for her. And, you know, it is sad to see Londi go. I actually was looking at some old clips of Portia's, I don't know if they called it Portia's Fairy Tale Wedding. I don't remember what the spinoff of Portia was called, but I just remember just how, you know, I couldn't remember the dynamics between Portia and Londi, but I wasn't good on that show. I'm gonna let y'all know that now. There was a huge difference between Diane's side of the family and then her father's side of the family. And from what we understand, Londi is a part of her father's side. So there was a huge difference in dynamics between the two. So I just watching those back, I'm just like, I'm so glad they got to a great place because that would have been so bad had they not, you know, reconciled. And because she did Londi wrong on the show, she really did. So it was actually good to see them talk about her in great spirits and everything. And that was pretty much it. So is there anything else you want to add to that, Mrs. Best? Because I'm going to move on.
Didn't add anything, and there is nothing to add.
Very good. So we're going to see Londi again. We then go to Angela is going to see her therapist, a lady named Wendy, a white lady. From what we understand, Wendy has been a therapist to her and Charles since 2017, right when they were having their issues and separations. So Wendy knows all the ins and outs. She basically is a third party in this marriage. And she's coming to Wendy, you know, saying a few things. One, that the 5 homes that she has as investment properties that she is trying to flip and sell are not selling. And it's getting to a point now in her finances where she's not going to be able to hold on to any of the properties. So she is really upset about that because she looked at this as an entrepreneurship that was going to grant her a lot of business acquisition, and it's not doing any of that. Charles has also invested a lot of his money into these properties as well for them not to be selling. And she is really taking it, you know, hard because, you know, she's going to have to let the properties go if they don't eventually sell. And that's very hard. I can understand her. As I said, I've been in real estate for a little bit. I've known other real estate agents that done exactly what she did. Luckily for them, they were able to turn the profit and actually sell the homes. It is a hard thing to do. Even though they say homes are flying off the wall, it's now transitioning back to where homes aren't really selling because people don't know in which direction this country is moving in. So a lot of people are holding back and being really frugal with their finances and only spending money if they have to, or only getting in debt if they have to, because we don't know where this is going and everyone's getting scared.
HOA fees are also historically higher than they have ever been all over the country. And mortgage rates have also been going up for a lot of people for 20% or more, which is a significant increase. So a lot of people ain't got it to be buying a house. When eggs is damn near $9 like they are here in the Bay Area, it's kind of hard to save 15% of 400,000. Just saying.
Yeah, I agree. Naya, I'm going to come back to this because I have a strong feeling about this. I do. I really do. Bereavement Bob, nothing wrong with the Bob. Shout out to It's so tragic. I did too. I did. You can tell that was a rough, loss for her. Can't take shortcuts in real estate. You cannot. And that's one thing when I go back into real estate that I always have to keep in the forefront of my mind because you cannot take any shortcuts. Luckily, in Phoenix right now, houses are literally selling themselves. You just got to be a part of the opportunities, especially in the newer development areas. A lot of people are moving here not knowing the area. They're just seeing the price tag on the houses and they just jumping on them. So I'm definitely in the right time to do real estate again, as opposed to when I did it my first time, where we were literally in a recession. So it was like there was nothing selling at all. So it's actually good to be in it nowadays, especially in this state. So as the therapy session goes on, Angela also reveals what happened at Kelly's event, where a young man approached her and told her about Charles having a lady at the restaurant. And, it hit her because they have gone through infidelity before. And this time it just felt like, she hates when people are constantly targeting her marriage because it's not allowing her the space and the opportunity to be in a great place with it if people are constantly bringing stuff up. And I can understand that. I can. And I just feel like, to me, a part of me feel like, and I hate I have to say this, because as much as I want to take Angela serious right now, I do in this moment, I also think she's playing. I do. I also think she is playing with this. I also think she is trying to make it stick and make it fun. There was something that Portia said in her confessional at the end where she felt like Angela did this to herself. I'm not saying Angela did this to herself. I still stick with my opinion, which I'll share with y'all later. But I feel like she's not putting like a cut to it. She's not cutting it off. She's giving it more fuel to the fire. And she wants answers and explanations like why. If it's not true, why do you care? I'm sure this is not the only time someone has spoken on your marriage. So I'm not buying it. I'm just not. There's something about it that just doesn't feel authentic to me. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Angela and her scene with her therapist?
I like that she and Charles are seeing their couples therapist together, but also individually. I've actually in training during my practicum to become a marriage and family therapist. So I guess I pay attention a little bit more, but now I actually see the value in doing that. But this is why people are going to like Angela and why she was a good casting, because she's so open and shares stuff, and you can tell that she's not disingenuous with everything. But at the same time, she's so open while also hiding like very important and vital secrets that it's like we can connect the dots and figure out what's going on. But it's just weird how she moves. Like you said, if you chose to forgive your husband and you genuinely forgave him and felt like he earned your trust back, then you would just be like, okay, bitch, and where's your husband? Like, you would just shrug it off and move on. But Angela has been the one to consistently drive this narrative and remind us that Charles is hot-headed, impulsive, always going to say what he's going to say. He's uncouth, and he has not been faithful. And she always reminds us of every negative aspect of him. So I don't think that she actually is over it. I feel like she's staying with him probably out of convenience, not so much finance-wise, because she was okay before she met him. But I think just once you get older, sometimes it's easier to stay with people than to move on to start all over. And it's given that because she just doesn't seem over it. It's odd. But because if you trusted him, this wouldn't be a discussion.
It wouldn't be. It's almost like she's waiting for something to come out that she has that would be concrete. Like she's waiting for it to happen. Kind of like with Dr. Contessa when season 8 or season 9? It was season 8 where Scott was pushing the narrative that he had a life coach and that he had this and he had that, and she was kind of like waiting on him to reveal, okay, I've been cheating. It's like you were waiting for it. You were waiting for him to admit it, but he never did. So if he's not going to admit it, then what are you waiting for? It's like either you're going to forgive him or you're not. This reminds me of that. It's like Angela. It's like you said you guys have moved past this. You guys have gotten, you separated, you got back together, you forgive him, so you move on. It seems like she forgave him, but she held on to whatever it was. And then she's waiting for it to happen again so she can say, no, I forgave you the first time. I ain't going to forgive you this time. I know I'm not the problem. Which you wouldn't be in the circumstance that he's cheated on. You wouldn't be the problem. But it just seems like that's why she continuously does this. And it's really annoying. Like, that's why I said it's annoying because I kind of feel like I want to champion you because I do like Angela, but at the same time, it's really starting to get annoying because it's like either you forgive him and move on, and if cheating allegations come, you say, oh well, he was at home with me every Tuesday, so I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, to me, she just moves weird and it's very strange. Is there anything else you want to add with Angela before we move on to the next scene? Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and move it along here. The next thing we see is Kelly. Kelly is cooking breakfast for her kids. Her sister comes over and she tells her sister because her sister asked her, "Okay, the Sandy Springs location. Where are you in the development stages of that?" So Kelly said that has taken a complete pause because she's still married, and technically, her still being married, the new restaurant location could technically become a community property where her husband can get entitlement to it. Now, I need an attorney, a real one, to come into my comments and let me know if you've seen this episode. Is that 100% true? Because I feel like if you're already at the tail end of this divorce, y'all already went to court. Y'all were supposed to make it finalized, and I don't understand why you couldn't have opened it after that court date.
Maybe he has ownership in her trademark or in the company, or something has to be in writing somewhere where she can't move the way she wants. Or she could just be being careful because he's petty. But my neighbor, who my husband for some reason has made good friends with, is an attorney. He's a corporate law attorney, I guess, in San Francisco. I can ask him later over a blunt because he'd be watching the show with me.
Oh, yes, please do.
Yeah, I'm like there's so many attorneys in my building, but this guy, because corporate law would know this, right?
They would. Absolutely, okay. They would know. Because, and I get that's also where we're going with this, but to me, I just feel like, okay, if you going to jail and we supposed to be finalizing our divorce in this one court date that we couldn't make, I just feel like anything she would do beyond that point, the judge would be like, no, because she did it after the fact we were supposed to have a decision. So that's why I'm saying, like, I just feel like, to me, I don't know. And that's why I said I need an attorney. Because I feel like if they never had a court date, like, let's say they are still, in probably intermediate counseling or mediation, fine. Absolutely. Do not open that business during that time. Fine. But if we've already been to court and we were supposed to have a divorce finalization and you couldn't come up, I feel like after that, anything I do after that should not be entitled to him. But of course, Georgia law is different. So, I don't know. But it just seems like she could have opened that business. At least I feel like she could have. But she's saying that, she's still waiting on, she tells her sister that she is not divorced yet. She's still married to the man. And it's just like, damn, still everyone's like looking at Kelly like, damn, you still in this marriage. Like, and y'all have to understand. I mean, all of y'all, I don't think Shamia has met the man, but I feel like your sister definitely has met the man. And I'm sure you've heard horror stories. Y'all can understand why this lady is still in this marriage because the man making it difficult for her. So I don't know. That was a weird scene. I don't trust the court. They allow Ralph, the basement food, to stay in the house. Not saying they are the same, but court proceedings can go either way. I honestly do not feel like, and I need to see I need someone to send me the video clip or send me the transcript of a judge telling Ralph, stay in the home and stay in the basement. out of their choice, not Ralph or Drew's, but out of their discernment. I need someone to send me the transcripts. Email me the transcripts where a judge told Ralph and Drew that Ralph needs to stay in the basement for the sake of the kids, not because it's not financially woed, not because they equally have equal footing of the house. I need a judge to say that he's doing this for the sake of the kids, that they should not leave the marital home because of the kids. And then I'll believe that. So I need someone to send that. I'm trying to tell you, you better tell them Mrs. Best. I'm trying to tell you, I don't believe that. I just do not believe that. I don't. I agree to provide evidence because there is some, it is. There's no way a judge said that. I'm sorry. Send me that thing. I need the transcripts. So whoever work at the county clerk's office in Atlanta, send me that transcript. I know y'all can do it. Send me that transcript, and I want to see it. I want to read in fine print and highlight it for me, where the judge said, my ruling while you guys are figuring this out is Ralph can stay in the basement, Drew can live in the main home upstairs, and I want to see how that was said. And then I'll come on, watch on my reviews and read it. I will be, it will say allegedly all over my screen.
Why courts have worked with app developers to develop apps like the one that Brittany Renner uses to communicate with her child's father. There's literal court mediators, people who have degrees in problem solving and helping people to come to a solution. There are people who are hired. I can do that with my degree to help and assist with court. There's no way that a judge would do this. It doesn't make sense. And then if you look at the house and stuff, there's still pictures of them up as a family. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't no way.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah. So we'll see. But that was it with Kelly's storyline. Anything you want to add to Kelly's storyline before we move on?
No.
All right. So then we move on to Shamia. Shamia is having a live show to showcase a few of her singles on her upcoming album. You know, Shamia is going full-fledged with her being an R&B artist. She says that she has waited 20 years for this, and she's finally getting her chance to actually do it. She doesn't have to wait for a label to sign her. She can do it all and promote it on her social media. So she's definitely taking advantage of being on Housewives of Atlanta to showcase this newly, developed artist that she has become, and, no longer at the height anymore. So we're proud of Shamia. So she has all the ladies there with the exception of Portia. Portia couldn't make it because of what's going on with Blondie, which we all understand. So I'm giving Portia a break for this one. So Shamia does her show. Her husband is there. He's present. She has her baby there. Miss Pat from, the little show, that BT show. She was the host, which I thought was brilliant because that lady is funny as hell. So I thought that was also a good touch. So Shamia does her show, and Drew was over there borderline hating. Because Drew said that she is the resident singer of this group, so this cast. So she, is going to be judging from afar and looking at Shamia.
I don't like that. I'm sorry. Taurus women be doing that. They do. It's a fact. I don't understand. Like, every female friend I got, every female I know, even the ones I'm not cool with, I'm not dragging nobody's name. I feel like as women, we already go through enough in life and are in some ways set up to fail. So we should support each other. We don't have to fuck with each other tough, but we don't need to tear each other down. That shit irked me, James. It was so childish. This was very high school, how Drew behaved. And it's interesting because Drew's first performance wasn't all of that. And she had opinions on opinions, but to just come out and say, I'm the resident singer because you so happy Candy's finally gone. Drew, stop. We had Shamari DeVoe on this show. That lady can sing. We've had Candy, who she got something. She pitchy, but she got something. Like, we've had singers on the show, so I don't like when people do things like this. Shamia's been on this show prior to Drew's existence, so I'm just looking and I'm like, Drew, because now that you and Portia is beefing, your wigs are questionable again. But you commented on vocals with not one song. Not one song on Drew's album was a cappella. Every song had heavy auto tune. I can't stand hating bitches. Why'd you do that, James?
I don't know why she did either. That was ridiculous. I was looking at Drew like, oh wow, okay, man. Naya said, "Am I the only one who was confused? There was no build up, no anti. Oh, I can't even talk today. Sorry, that motorcycle threw me off. We did anticipation, just threw it in there. The last episode, she really did the damn thing, but where the fuck did this come from? Honestly, it was kind of like we had it in the beginning, and then we lost it, and then we got it back. It was kind of like, yeah, there wasn't any build up to this. There wasn't nothing. So to me, I kind of felt like they didn't do her well in the
They did her
satisfaction of her
dirty.
music. And the reason why I say that is because if y'all will go back to where her and Portia started to have a tiff when she started playing her music, I believe it was Angela's event, and they were like, it was like, oh, that's just Drew, and it was kind of like they were playing her music and they were playing Shamia and putting her and Drew against each other, kind of in the sigma of who music is better. And then Drew carried on with her music, and this whole Dennis and Ralph and Portia thing kind of took a head of its own, and Shamia kind of got left in the crossfire
It
with that.
wasn't just that. I felt like production, they obviously filmed Shamia a lot in the studio. Her label execs were around, they were filmed constantly.
Right.
But it seems like whenever Shamia was in the studio where she messed up, we should have seen more studio scenes with just Shamia or just Shamia and her family or something involving her kids. The problem was every time she was in the studio, one of the housewives would come, and it wasn't just one at a time, it was several. So instead of showing her singing or recording and showing the process that would have given that natural buildup, we're watching Drew in the studio with Angela complain about something that Portia's done or said. Like, it's too much that they put onto this stupid Portia and Drew beef that it really did dim, I think, a lot of the other cast members' storylines. Like even Britt Edie, after watching this episode, I'm like, oh, I don't really care for her, but she did have a storyline within her family, within her shady insurance license, within all of that. She had something. We couldn't even dig into how they used to do the show and see people's individual lives and stories because they were so focused on this catty 15-year-old bullshit from a bunch of 40-year-old broads and gold diggers.
I agree. But yeah, I honestly, I feel like for me, it did kind of, I forgot Shamia did music at a point because we were so heavily involved in her go back and forth with her and Portia, her go back and forth with Angela at one point, and then her go back and forth with Drew. We kind of forgot she did music. Like we really did. And I want to shout out to DM Rocks. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. But I don't know. I just, yeah, it was, her performance was okay. I mean, it was the first performance, at least the ones that we got to see. I don't know if she's done anything other than this one, but it was okay for what it was. It wasn't bad the way Drew was putting it out there. And that's why I said, Drew, you a hater. You ain't doing nothing but hating on this lady, and it's not pretty. It's not cute of you to do that. You should be championing her. You should say her music sounds great. Her music is wonderful. I can't
Drew
wait
can
to
only
buy it.
stand in place and struggle to hit them notes with her eyes closed and her hand on her ear. At least Shamia can carry an 8 count while staying on key.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel. I feel like, to me, give Shamia her flowers because that takes courage to do. It takes courage to do, to go back out there when society is already hard on Black women as it is in the industry. They don't get the recognition that they deserve. Sometimes they don't get the royalties they deserve. Also, a lot of the times they don't get the publicity they deserve. You know, you can have a tone deaf white lady out there that sell out arenas, you know, left and right. So it's kind of like, for me, I don't need another Black woman to sit there and down another Black woman who's trying to have the same thing you're trying to have on this exact same show. It just was not befitting of you, Drew. That was actually very tasteless of you to do. I'm just saying. So, and I'm not saying this because y'all know I love Shamia. I'm not saying that because I'm a fan for her, but I'm just saying it wasn't nice. It just wasn't. Nice. I can't stand you sometimes, but I love you at the same time. But anyway, so the ladies are all going to the backstage, commiserate. The show is over, and Shamia comes back out, and Angela is asking the ladies, "Hey, did y'all all get my invite?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, we got your invite." She goes, "Good, because I need y'all to put on social media. How many followers do you have?" And Kelly said, "I got about 150K." And Britt said, "Where?" And she goes, "Oh, so you're stalking me now, Kelly? You're stalking me? You're looking at my followers and everything? Is this a competition?" I'm just looking at Kelly like, "Oh my God. Kelly, you making it hard to be on your side because say you not pressed without saying you ain't pressed because you're pressed. There's no way I would have given Britt that energy. I just wouldn't have. I'd be like, yeah, she right. Whatever it is, that's what it is, Angela. So everyone's like confused about what's going on. They're like, are y'all still at this? Like, what is happening here? So Shamia then, tells the lady, hey, thank you guys for all coming and everything. Everyone's like, of course, we're here to support you and everything. So she, hugs everybody and she pulls Britt aside. And now come on, Dan Rocks, why you ask this question? Why you ask this question as if this wasn't something we all been looking at from day one? We know Shamia can't dress. We know this. Her reunion look was definitely a shock to me because I thought she was gonna get it wrong for sure. But we know she ain't got no. I mean, right? Give me that money. I'll be your stylist, Shamia. Hire me. I got you because I can't do any worse. I can't do any worse. Just saying. So, she tells Britt, she goes, Britt, I had a conversation with Cynthia, and Cynthia told me that you were the one that said that you told Portia that I had showed you some text messages about Portia or whatever. And she said, yeah, you were talking about Portia. I saw the text messages. I said, Britt, now which one is it? Because you told Portia that Shamia showed you text messages between her and Portia. Now you're saying that the text messages were talking about Portia. How could she be talking about Portia if the text messages were directly to Portia? Did anybody else catch that, or was that just me that caught that?
I caught that, and I'm glad you brought it up because I keep seeing online people talking about Britt. I'm starting to warm up to her because she called this out. Shamia got caught. I don't believe that Shamia would show text messages between her and Portia to Britt Eady, of all people, who's shady. And at the time that these alleged text messages were shown to Shamia, or that Shamia showed to Britt, at that time, everybody thought Britt was half crazy anyway because of how she snapped at Kenya. So I can't see with what happened with Kenya and how Britt's temper has been on this show. I can't see Shamia doing something like that. We also have to remember Shamia has been on this show for many years prior as a friend to Portia and has gained friendships with other cast members. If she's never done it before, why would she start doing it now with some young new school newbies that think that they're on Love and Hip Hop? I'm not saying Shamia is innocent because I don't really mess with her too much. I think birds of a feather flock together. I think her and Portia are just as bad in different ways, but I don't think Shamia would do this. I just don't.
I don't
Brittany lying too.
Yeah, and we caught her in this lie because that wasn't what you told Portia, and that's not. To me, there's a huge difference. Now, if Shamia was talking about Portia, I can believe it. And to me, she has within some right to do so because Portia be playing in Shamia's face a lot of the time. So I can understand maybe out of frustration, she thinks she's talking to two of her friends. Is it right? No. Absolutely not. It's not right to talk about your friends to other women, especially when they're going to be joining the same circle of friends. It's not right to talk about anybody behind their back. But at the same time, out of frustration, because Portia be playing, I could see how the opportunity could present itself. But what we don't need for you, Britt, is to add hot sauce, ketchup, and mustard onto the situation and making it all extra when it really wasn't all that to begin with. Because I don't believe you now that you have confirmed a different story than what you told Portia. Very much so a different story. So now I don't believe Brit. So Shamia gets in her feelings and said that you had no right to do that or whatever. And Britt brings up, oh, just like when you were crying in Grenada about your daughter being sick, but you were out in Miami. Like, what was that about then? And to me, because I waited for what this was going to turn into, um, because they made it seem like Britt said something crazy about Shamia's daughter. Like everyone was building us up to believe. And if this is what she said, yeah, it's bad, but at the same time, it's not what we thought it was going to be. And Shamia said, don't bring up my daughter. Don't bring up my daughter. Don't do that. And she goes, no, you were crying in Grenada, right? You didn't care about your daughter. You didn't care because you showed up to Miami. You were in Miami turning up. Where were the tears for your daughter? And I said, ooh, them is fighting words, Britt. You better be careful. Because to say she a bad mom like that, that's crazy. So Shamia walks away and, she has some slick shit to say that come out of her mouth. But, Britt was like, okay, well, it is what it is. So, oh, well, move it along. And I'm really getting tired of them all walking away from Britt and letting Britt have the last word. I'm like, damn, y'all ain't got no rhythm in y'all. We don't have to worry about Bang Bang Nicki Minaj want to be next season. No, because I didn't like her to begin with, but I just feel like to me, I just feel like I want these ladies to stop acting like they can't read or something unless they really can't do it because she be getting them. And I'm like, damn, y'all really finna let her just get y'all like that for real? Kelly, Shamia, who next? But anyways, how do you feel about that scene with Shamia versus Britt Edie?
Britt Edie read nothing. I think people have to understand that Britt Edie didn't get her together. Britt Edie didn't give anything, in my opinion, in this scene. I think that an appropriate read or to one-up somebody, if you can do it without being cruel and unusual and stooping down to their level, then you look even better. That's why Phaedra's reads have been, legendary. There's a reason why. Candy's reads, also legendary, and she don't do the most. So, I don't know. Britt Edie has a habit of going low and taking things too far. We saw it prior to Kenya's opening of her salon. We saw it with that interaction with Kenya, how just because of a comment about your ring, now suddenly you got to pull out a weapon on somebody. So to bring up someone's child is low. I don't have kids and I wouldn't have done that. There are 1,001 things she could have said about Shamia instead of bringing up her child. I don't like that shit. I feel like that's a problem in the world in general, not to get all deep. Motherfuckers be so quick to get at a child as a way to insult an adult, and we're supposed to all collectively be protecting kids, collectively be keeping kids out of stuff. So bringing up her daughter was weird. It was also a read that just failed us because you asked her where her tears were, her daughter were, dumb bitch. Maybe if you wasn't getting naked and running all over the place after taking your shot, you would have remembered that you got naked and did all of that at Grenada because she did have tears and was distraught over her daughter not being well. So it didn't even make sense. It didn't even make sense. I'm sick of Britt Edie. I'm glad she's not coming back. Like she did okay, I think, in this episode and towards the end of this season, but even like erasing the opinion I already had of her prior, I just don't think she fits this type of a show. Like separate from the fraudulent.
I was gonna say she definitely didn't fit. I don't know how she got on Housewives of Atlanta.
Like, she doesn't fit this.
I don't know who opened that door for her. I really don't, because I kind of feel like, what were y'all looking at when it came to putting her on the show? Like, what is the criteria? Like, has it changed? Like, what are we?
I genuinely believe, and this is not an insult, because a lot of the cast members on Love and Hip Hop are talented. A lot of them I respect. A lot of them I've frequented their businesses and all of that. But she would do better with a cast like that. Why? Because she could show less of her husband. She could match the energy that she has with the types of threats that she gives. A lot of the people on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and the other Love and Hip Hops are new money. They haven't had much, or there may not be much talent there. And she's famous for being the ex of Rick Ross, who is well known in hip hop. She doesn't fit this cast. I don't know what the hell Bravo was thinking putting her on here, but she don't fit this cast. Her husband do, but she don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Brit's tit did not save the day like she wanted. Ooh. Lord have mercy, not Brit's tit. Let's move on, y'all. Let's go ahead and get to the next thing. So we then have a scene with Phaedra and the little boy from She Met on Married to Medicine that she done brought onto this show now. So apparently they're still dating. They've been dating at this point. It'd be 4 months. They go to some little winery in Georgia that I guess Georgia has a winery. I mean, I thought I knew that already, but apparently I forgot. And it was a whole bunch of nothing. They was kissing. They was talking about what we gonna do later and all this and that. I'm happy that Phaedra seems to have taken a liking to this guy and that she wants to see where this goes. But I also feel like because of his connection with Apollo and Shalifa, I feel like I don't buy it now. I don't know if I ever did buy it, but like I really don't feel like this is real. But if it is, good luck, Phaedra. How'd you feel about her little scene with her and the guy?
Same as you. If it's real, good for you. If not surprised. This is why I think Phaedra belonged on Married to Medicine, and I wish she would have gave them a shot and continued to deal with them women.
Not you coming over to the dark side.
I do.
Wait.
Seeing her back. I used to be so for Phaedra coming back to RHOA, but she is not the Phaedra that we had on RHOA.
I said that.
She left. So James is right in that aspect. Seeing her on Married to Medicine, they're difficult as hell with new people in general. That's why not very many new additions last on Married to Medicine. But in terms of how they handle things, how they read, education, all of it, I do feel like she would be better over there. I don't like her over here. If they would have built a cast with people successful, like old money, like Phaedra, people her age, like maybe Portia's age and up, fine. But to add the Kellys and the Britt Edie's, it makes me confused as to why Phaedra's here.
It doesn't make sense. I said this from the beginning. I said this, and I'm gonna keep saying this until Phaedra end up back over there. I said Phaedra, as much as people did not want to see it my way, Phaedra belongs on Married to Medicine. I actually saw what the producers found her potential to be on that show. To me, I kind of felt like the first season Phaedra was on that show was literally for the pretentiousness of her being back on reality TV. But the second season, the fact that the ladies were coming for her and making her work for her check like they were supposed to do, it actually worked because Phaedra did go toe to toe and started coming out of character. And I said, oh, wait a minute, now we got a different Phaedra. I ain't gonna get no bitches like y'all. When did y'all ever hear Phaedra use the word bitch before on TV? Come on now. Let's not act like they didn't bring Phaedra out of character. So that's why I said Phaedra is better on Married to Medicine than she is on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I keep saying it. I feel like, you know what, Bravo, at this point, give her both checks. Let her go to Married to Medicine and film a season. Let her come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta and film a season. If y'all gonna throw her in our face like this, let her do both shows and see where she sticks. And y'all will see what I'm talking about, because a lot of y'all don't want to see that because of what the epitome of Married to Medicine is. But she fits right in with them. And I've said it, and I'm glad Mrs. Best is now seeing it, because I'm telling you, I thought I was on this island by myself. I'm like, y'all are crazy if y'all don't see this.
No, the thing is, I've always seen that Phaedra could fit Married to Medicine, but only for the education and how she behaves. But you get confused when you get reintroduced to Phaedra, and then you got ass, titties, bust down. And I'm like, wait, what happened to the corporate attorney with the gap and the pressing girl with the
saw her for a little bit in this episode. We sure did. We saw old Phaedra with them bags in her eyes and everything.
Yeah, but her now, it just doesn't work. It's disingenuous, and eventually we're gonna remember like how old this woman is. They should take all the old baddies on the Housewives and put them all in the house and see what happens, because they all shady as hell. Erica Girardi, Phaedra,
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, they all shady as hell. It's like the older they get, the shadier they get. And
Yeah.
just see what happens. But yeah, I don't care for Phaedra on this show, James.
I don't, and that's why I said to me this was a mistake. Keep her on Married to Medicine, but I know she's not going back to. I mean, they would have to pay Phaedra. I see her going back for the right price. I do. I see her going back for the right
She
price.
needs to figure out too how every time she has a conflict that's significant, because she'll avoid conflict for the most part, just do little reads. But when she has a significant conflict with any cast member on any show, from
Mm-hmm.
this one to Married to Medicine to when she did Marriage Boot Camp with that Tyler Perry actor, she flees.
She does
She flees.
because they
So
allow her to, and like y'all need to start learning how to withhold some of these checks when your characters on the show be wanting to do this, be wanting to leave and get out of conflict and shit. Y'all need to start withholding checks from episodes when they start doing that shit. I'm telling you, then they'll start acting right. But yeah. So that's why I'm glad you finally came into the dark side. I was waiting for it because I knew it was gonna come because it's like y'all have to see what I'm seeing here. But anyways, y'all, let's move on. The next thing we're gonna see, Britt Edie has a family night at her house. She had the sister that was never on camera, the oldest sister. I'm assuming that's who that was, and the baby sister that was overly dramatic. She was there, the mama, and then some of Mike's family, and they revealed that because they got married in a pandemic, they're going to go ahead and do a vow renewal where they'll have an actual wedding this time. And then also, hopefully after this wedding, they can then start working on the baby. Because at first she tried to pull it like she was pregnant. And it was funny because she actually did look pregnant in a little glance of it. I had to rewind. I said, "Oh, wait a minute, I think she bullshit." But no, she's not pregnant. But it was funny. It was a cute little scene. It is, it was cute for what it was. How'd you feel about Britt Edie and her family, Mrs. Best? I'm gonna move on.
I don't care. Kelly is right. That's her roommate. Her and Mike do not touch, do not kiss. I think that's her gay bestie who doesn't want people to know that he's gay. I think sometimes they fool around, but it just feels like her and her gay bestie have an arrangement. I don't buy this marriage. I just don't buy it. The girl was more affectionate on Rick Ross' nasty ass. Ain't no way.
Okay, so here's my thing. And I'm going to be the minority in this, which is fine. I am 100% okay with being the minority of it. I actually do not think he's gay. And I'm going to be the minority in this one.
Well, then he better go seek some help.
I don't think I don't think he's,
Because the
despite the
signs he's
rumors,
given to women,
I mean, he does look disinterested, but that doesn't mean necessarily gay.
well, there have been receipts, interviews that Britt Edie is funny. She filed something threatening to sue Bravo, but hasn't threatened to sue Tasha K or the many other YouTubers that are interviewing the people that say they've bent her husband over. So,
you know what's funny about suing? You have to be careful with that because even though Tasha K has had one celebrity come after him and was successful, the others that have tried her have not been successful, i.e., Kevin Hart, and there was another.
The thing of it is, what I'm saying, and why I bring it up Tasha K, though, it's not even about the lawsuit. The lady ain't said nothing that's a lie, is the problem. I know people, Cardi B sued her, but if you look at what she was sued for saying, it wasn't just all for some lies. A lot of it was based on truth. So, and that's the trend with many of the people who go on her stuff, whether he's bi, gay, whatever the hell. He's not interested in Brit.
I don't think he's interested in Brit at all. I don't disagree with that, but I just don't see it. I think a lot of people. I need more proof than someone coming out and saying they did it. I need more proof than that. I do. I need more proof in the pudding than that because to me, he doesn't. It's not that he's hard to read. I just don't get that from him. I get other things, but that no, I don't get that.
I think you got to work on your discernment, friend. That man,
here's the thing.
he
Naturally,
may not be strictly gay, but that man definitely indulges in men and women. And from the looks, because Britt Eady, we can say what we want about her, but she's a beautiful woman. And he is not interested whatsoever. But
okay, would
he
you be
allegedly is
interested in the woman
interested.
that talks through her left nostril?
James. A lot of rappers and celebrities ran through Britt Eady. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. Go on YouTube, look up her registry, look it up. We can feel how we feel about her. Yes, she's plastic. Yes, she's nasally, but she's still an attractive woman. And I'm sure.
I'm sorry, but there's certain things that would turn me off about her. I'm sorry. The moment she opened that mouth, I'm sorry. I cannot. Because then you have to think about it. You're going to hear that when they fucking. You're going to hear that. Like, you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, nah, I'm
Some
turned off.
men do not care. And a lot
I'm
of men
sorry.
have not
You know,
cared and
I
have
just had
dated
this
her.
conversation. I just had this conversation with one of my guy friends because we talked about Michelle. We just talked about Michelle, and it was like, would you get past the voice thing? And I said she would have to sing with me all the time.
All
In
the
order
time.
for me, yes, she would have to sing with me all the time.
I
Like,
couldn't
there's
take it
no
serious.
way I can listen to that voice every day. I would go fucking nuts. And he thinks it's cute. He's like, I like the little voice. I said, no, I can't do it.
So there's some very notable rappers, just like Britt Eady. But I'm telling you, the girl ain't never struggled to catch a man or anything like that. So it's very strange that this man, like, we ain't seen this man try to eye fuck his wife. We ain't seen him smack a booty, make a joke that's sexual. Even with the kid thing, she brings it up all the time.
Maybe he didn't want to be on TV naturally. Maybe he didn't want, and that's
James, I don't think these people have that type of marriage. The girl has been proven to be shady. She's lied about stuff. Her insurance license was mysteriously taken away from her. I think something with her is shady. I don't think her husband is shady business-wise, but I do think Britt is. But they definitely have some type of arrangement. This ain't no normal marriage. You could sense that energy between a couple.
I know this ain't no normal marriage. I know this ain't definitely nothing normal about it, but I'm just saying I don't know if I read gay on him. I just don't know if I read it. But anyways, we'll move on, y'all, because we spent too much time all day. I didn't want to spend all this time. But moving on from there, we then have now Angela's event with Charles Oakley. They have a Feed the Homeless Children Foundation that they partnered with other foundations to help feed. They're trying to raise $100,000 to be able to feed as many kids as possible. I think their goal is like 1,000 kids or something like that. So they want to feed a lot of kids. And this event is to also honor, but then also raise the money so that way they can definitely go with the foundation and feed the children. So everyone shows up for Angela. Everyone looked very, very nice, I must say. Everyone looks nice. I loved everyone. I think, to me, Portia, for me, threw it out the bag. I said, yes, Portia, you better show up and show all the way out. I loved her dress from head to toe. Oh, she looked great. She just looked so good. I didn't like Shamia's look at all, of course. That's pretty much the standard. Shamia looked like she was getting ready to go into a boxing ring. I don't know what the hell she had on. I liked Angela's look. I thought it was inappropriate, but it was still cute on her. But yeah, everyone looks nice. And, they are, speaking, Charles Oakley speaks about his foundation. They honor the CEOs of Purse and also Meals on Wheels, which has been around Meals on Wheels has been around for a very long time. Like, I'm thinking at least since the 50s, like if I can remember correctly. They've been around a long time. So that's a huge honor to have them there. And they also honor Portia as well, because her and her cousin Lundy were huge advocates for Hosea Feed the Hungry, their grandfather's foundation. So Portia was also honored as well. And she put the dedication to her cousin Lundy. And as Portia's getting off the stage, she pretty much says, she pretty much gets an emotional breakdown. The ladies rally around her. And in the meantime of Portia going through this, Drew and Angela are texting saying, hey, oh boy is here. I already ordered him a drink. So, what'd you say, DM Rocks? I feel bad for Portia after getting the award. She was crying in the bathroom with all. Yeah, that was really tough for me to watch because you could tell she was caught off guard that she was being honored. You could tell that wasn't something she was expecting, but she pulled it together though. I have to give it to Portia. She pulled it together because I would have broke down. on that stage. I would have. It would have been a rough stage because, especially because it's a fresh death too. Like, yeah, that's kind of yeah, it was too much. So, but Drew and Angela texting, they're sitting the ladies down, and before the guy gets there, Angela's talking with the ladies, and she calls out Kelly first, and she said, "Kelly, I thought it was strange that you would have that guy at your event, and you would take a shot with him, and." All of this, but then she had to be reminded Kelly did get him rushed out once he made that Angela and her husband cheating thing. She did rush him out, and then she looked at Britt and she said, Britt, I know you and I had our issues, so I thought maybe you could have sent him. And Britt was like, no, I'm married, and that's not something I would do. Like, I would never attack another marriage. And Kelly said, he, and just started laughing. And I'm just like, oh, God, these girls are so immature. I can't take it. Like, it's so stupid. And so as Britt is continuing talking to Angela, pleading her case, she's elbowing Shamia, like, trying to be messy. And so Angela then's like, yeah, I just really want to get down to the bottom of this. And what better way to do that than to bring the guy here? Portia, like, he's here? And she goes, yeah. So Drew gets up all happy and goes and gets the guy. And Drew walks and is holding the guy's hand. And I said, Drew, why the fuck are you holding this guy's hand? Did y'all notice that Drew held this man's hand the entire time he was sitting down and walking over? Drew, why were you holding this man's hand? Why? It's so extra. It's so stupid. It's like, why were you doing that? That is so odd. I didn't think Kelly did it either. I feel like she is messy, but no, I don't think she would do something like that. That's kind of overbearing. So before the guy could sit down, Charles Oakley bring his old ass over there and said, you got to go. You got to go. Get on up out of here. You're going to disrespect my wife. You're going to bring your ass in. Get out of here. And the guy was like, whoa, I did not disrespect you. I apologize to you. I apologize to Angela. Angela was like, no, Charles, I got this. I got this. And then she started to get frantic. And I said, oh, okay. She said, Charles, leave him alone, Charles. Let him go. And I'm like, okay. What is going on right now? Like, what the hell are we looking at? Like, it went from Real Housewives of Atlanta to General Hospital up in here. What the hell is going on around here? So Charles said, you lucky. I'm gonna just say it like this: you lucky. You lucky my wife want to answer. You just lucky. I ain't got no respect for you. So Charles walks away. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I got to get out of here because I can't believe this shit. So she wants Marcus, that's the guy's name, to tell the truth. Like, I want to know who sent you. So Marcus is looking around for girls, and he calls out Phaedra. And Phaedra is blonde. They're like, what? Me? What? I don't know you. What are you talking about? He goes, Phaedra, we met up. You gave me an envelope. An envelope? When would I give you an envelope? I don't know you. And everyone's laughing because everyone's like, Phaedra of all people? Phaedra? And I'm looking at all of them, especially Portia, Shamia, and anybody else over there that's been with Phaedra, Cynthia. I'm looking at them three like, y'all know this is up Phaedra's alley. Y'all better cut that shit out. Y'all know Phaedra would do some goofy shit like this. Cut it out. So Phaedra was like, I don't know you. She goes, Phaedra, we know somebody in common. She goes, well, who do we know? When the dude said Junebug, I said, oh. Portia took it out the park, and Portia said, this is a scheme that Todd said. She couldn't even finish her sentence because she started laughing, and then they did a flashback of Aunt Bertha saying it, and I was hollering because I was like thinking that exact same thing. Because who the fuck is Junebug? Do we know Junebug on the show? So this is best. This is where you got to chime in because this shit was funny as hell. How did you feel about Phaedra getting outed by this man, and do you think she really did it?
Phaedra did not do this. That was an easy out because with her being back on the show, it's controversial, and she left the show based on a lie that was told about Candy and her marriage. Why would she come back and do the exact same thing after only being able to go on a cash trip barely and get to an event? She's not even, Phaedra wasn't here long enough to matter, like in general, even if she did do it. But I don't think that she did this. I think it was Britt Edie.
Here's my thing. Because y'all know I said I thought Phaedra did it last episode, and I'm gonna stick by it. I think she did it too. Here's my thing of why I think Phaedra did it, and I'm gonna bring you and Shana together because my opinion of Phaedra changed about that Portia incident. My opinion of that has changed now, and I'll give you guys my opinion before of what I thought, and I'm gonna give my opinion after what I thought about that whole Portia, Candy, and Phaedra situation. My mind is different now. But the reason why I don't feel like it was Phaedra solely. Let me put it to you guys this way. I don't feel like Phaedra did this solely. I think the producers, I think this man met with production. And I think they brought it through Phaedra. And I think this was Phaedra's in on the show to be a full-time cast.
I'm going to stop
That's
you
what
there.
I think.
I don't think production would work with a registered sex offender.
Why not?
I just don't
They work
feel
with a
like they
criminal.
would. And then where would they get him from?
They worked with a known criminal who did fraud. So what would make him any different?
A sex offender and fraud, to me, I think most people
It doesn't matter to me. It's still, you're still in prison. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're still criminals. At the end of the day, they work with criminals. Obviously, they work with Apollo.
They do work with criminals, but a sex offender, there's a very big difference between being a sex offender and being a criminal. And most people are able to decipher that difference. It's also something that publicly people will be like, oh, you shady, you a criminal, and throw shade. Yes. But when you're a sex offender, that's different. That's why shows like Love After Lockup on WeTV will have criminals that's done everything from murder to bank robbery, but will not have people on there who are sex offenders. Like usually people stay away from that professionally. So I don't feel like production would have involved him. And I don't feel like Phaedra as a parent would get involved in any way with somebody who's like that as well. I feel like it's something that would come from Britt Edie because this seems like a rookie mistake. And Phaedra threw shade at Angela, but I don't think that she would want to take down her marriage.
I don't think she would want to either. But here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to kind of say a little bit. I'm not saying I don't know the difference between the two. So please, people, do not misinterpret that. I know there's a huge difference, but I also know sex offenders have also limitations to it. You could be a man, piss on the sidewalk, and have to register as a sex offender. So there's limitations to a sex offender. So I'm not saying like through the detriment of that man that, oh my God, because he's a sex offender, Bravo would work with him. And obviously they did because he appeared on the show. So for me, I kind of feel like this. The reason why I feel like Phaedra did it, and this is what kind of made me even side with this even more, is Angela said that Phaedra was the one who gave her the information on the guy. In the same way, if we're pulling the narrative of Phaedra repeating a rumor she heard about Portia, and if we're also pulling the narrative of Phaedra bringing Marlo on the show to spite Nene, this is on par with Phaedra's behavior.
That's exactly what whoever organized this would expect. And that's the part I'm looking at. Most people would think exactly how you're thinking because it does make sense historically based on her behavior in the past.
Yeah.
However, everyone can acknowledge that Phaedra is not dumb. It's on brand for her, yes. It's something she's done before. Why would she come back and do it again so soon? She's not stupid. So I'm not saying it's not something Phaedra could have done, but I don't think she would have done it at this point of being back on the show. To me, it feels like a rookie mistake. And Britt Edie is the type who's looking for moments to stir in pots, talking about text messages and lied about that. I feel like it could have come from her. I also agree with Tim Rock's comment. I also low-key feel like it could have come from Angela because the way she responded, like screaming, looked like she was like clammy out of nowhere, eyes bulging out, veins everywhere. Like the way she lost it, she was either one, this exposed how effed up her marriage really is, or two, like DM Rock said, she probably set it up, didn't tell Charles about it, and then all this happened.
I think she set up the initial meetup. I think she set up the initial meetup with him coming to this event. I do think she was blindsided at Kelly's event. I do feel like she was blindsided because it did look like it was out of nowhere. Because why would you come to this random lady's event? And I just feel like for me, and the reason why I said like for me, I'm not trying to say like it's on par for it is on par for Phaedra to do this, but the reason being is because I feel like Phaedra didn't think this was going to live on. This is why I just like with the candy situation. I don't think she thought that would have lived on. I don't think she thought that. I thought she thought that was just going to be a moment between Candy and Portia, and that was going to be it. I don't think she thought this was going to live on. The same way with the whole Marlo situation, I don't think she thought that was going to live on. I think Phaedra is used to planting seeds, and she's used to it kind of just playing out, but then going away. Yes. Hey, Shani, thank you for being here. But I just, for me, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't feel like it was solely Phaedra. I don't think it was solely her. It could have been her and Britt. I don't know. But I feel like she did have a part in it. I'm sorry. And if the part was.
Did have a part in it, but it wasn't all her.
Well, I don't think it was all her. No, that's what I said. I don't think it was solely her. I don't think it was solely her.
The part where production may have something to do with it is they probably encouraged Phaedra to have a piece of in it. But I definitely think Britt was the one who did all of the dirty work. She seemed like she would do it. And her and Phaedra shared a room in Grenada.
Yeah, that is true. That's what I'm saying. It could have been Britt too. It could have been her. But as I said, I don't think it was solely Phaedra. I don't think she did it by herself. I don't think that at all. I think she definitely had help. I think it was definitely something, and it could have been her only guilty part in it could have been giving Angela that information that made her look guilty. That could have been her only part into it. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, in terms of how Phaedra moves, this looks like something she would have been a part of. I'm sorry. No, they're not going to do anything to clear this up. I think Angela's going to have some receipts that are not going to make sense. I feel like Phaedra's going to continue to have notable deniability because she's an attorney, and they practice that in her practice of law. Notable deniability is a practice in law. That's the whole point of it. So I feel like she's going to continue to do that because to me, it doesn't benefit Phaedra to put this out there. It does not benefit Phaedra to come at this marriage. It doesn't benefit her at all, which is why I don't think she solely did it. And I don't say she had a part in it. I don't know who had the other part. It could have been production. It could have been Edie. It could have been anybody on the cast. I don't know. But I do feel like she did have a part in it. I do. She said, when Britt said, I don't break up marriages, that was dramatic. And I couldn't help but think of Portia. Oh, damn. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know really what to think. But it just, to me, it just rings Phaedra. It just does. Dude lost when he said he went to go pick up an envelope. This is the day and age of technology. Why are you picking up an envelope with information? Because probably his check was in it. You know, there has to be a paper trail of a check that I don't think Phaedra wrote. That's why I said I feel like production had a part in this. I do. And this is allegedly, I do. I feel like production had a part in this. I do. And I feel like the only person they felt like could bring it to the table was Phaedra because she's the only one that could be inconspicuous out of the group. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like they did this to give her a sure in. I do. I feel like this is what it was. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really care one way or the other because everything I say is alleged, but it's just my opinion on the show we see for 45 minutes. That's all I'm saying. It's just that to me, it looks like a Phaedra move. It just does. Sorry, not sorry, but it just does. Before we move forward with that, is anything else you want to say, Mrs. Best?
No.
All right. So we then move on after all of this has, scale where they walk the man out and everything. Shamia and Britt have another moment where they go back and forth, and Portia is confused because Portia's like, "Why are y'all going back and forth?" And she said she was talking about my daughter and about my tears and stuff, and she lucky I didn't beat her ass. And Britt's like, "You're threatening me?" She goes, "No, you be threatening people, talking about you gonna pull guns out on people and shit. That's you threatening people." So Shamia is hot, and Portia is confused, and so she takes Cynthia and Phaedra off to the side. And she goes, "Why was Shamia so mad? Like, what did I miss?" And so Cynthia's all like, "I had to tell her what happened. Like, I had to tell her." And Portia's like, why would you tell her? Like, why would you even bring that up to her? And she goes, look, I just want to be fair. Like, that ain't, listen, if it was me, I would want you to tell me. So, and Portia's like, no, I feel you. I got you. I feel you on that one. I do. But, she goes, I love Shamia. Like, it's never nothing. Like, I changed for Shamia. And I'm looking at Portia like this. Oh, you haven't? Portia, stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. Anybody, hell, a blind man can see on this national TV that you switched up on that girl. Come on. Like, come on. You switched up on that girl. And the problem is that you were scared of how she was going to perceive and if she would outshine you on this show. Let's not act like Portia ain't this old hating ass lady.
I actually disagree. I think that Portia and Shamia's friendship has likely been strained for some time, and we have not seen it or known about it because they weren't on camera. And I do think that Portia is afraid that Shamia would outshine her on the show, which is probably why Shamia wasn't a housewife prior. But now that Shamia is a housewife and becoming a housewife when they already weren't that close, I don't know. It just seems like they would have tried to hide it. But Portia is also right when she says that she hasn't acted any differently towards Shamia, because even before the friendship was strained, Shamia would show up for Portia. Portia wouldn't show up to Shamia. She was missing weddings, missing events, hating on her. So I don't think Portia's changed how she was as a friend. I don't think Portia ever will change how she is as a friend with Shamia, because that's a friend from childhood.
So you're saying she has not changed as far as it not being equal playing field between the two of them. Shamia showing up for Portia.
Yes.
Portia showing up for Shamia.
Yeah, she hasn't changed in that. Yeah, she hasn't changed in that aspect. But also, these ladies have not been in the best space in some time. I think it may have looked like that because their husbands was both from Africa and got cool. But I don't think they've been cool for some time. And Portia likes to make it seem by making statements like that. I have not changed how I've been with her. If you love her and you care, then go check on her and go tell her that. But you're not doing it. So they both suck.
April Morgan, I don't know who you are. You're new to my channel. Thank you and welcome. And I hope you subscribe to me. But you just took me on. Not Shamia. Got the help in the house, the money she could see. Portia got to go to Africa summer kitty cat. I love you for that. But no, I get what you're saying. But for this show aside, I don't think that there was a moment in time where Portia did not show up for Shamia in the same way. I feel like they equally have done things for each other. And I think now the dynamic is shifted. I think when Portia got divorced with Cordell, that's probably when the relationship shifted between them two, where they were both single. And then when Shamia got in her relationship, that's when their dynamics changed because Portia started missing events then. So I think that that's where the shift happened. I don't feel like in the beginning stages, maybe that's what I'm thinking of is where like
I'm not you're correct. That's what I'm thinking of too, because this is a friendship where you can see that the money has changed one person, but I think Shamia, the money has not changed so much. She seems more humble and grateful versus Portia, who seems to just think of herself as the best thing in the world and the best thing since sliced bread. So I do see that, but I don't even care because I feel like Shamia, if your friendship been this way, accept your friendship for what it is. Sometimes you just not that close with people no more. It is what it is. And Portia, stop trying to act like you're the best friend that could ever be out there when you're not. You treat most of the people who are closest to you in your life like shit, except for your child. So
she's a horrible friend. I don't know how people could be friends with her. She's horrible.
Yeah, so I'm like, Portia, one thing I will say,
she want to throw out. Why isn't this happening? Because I'll never forget when her sister got pregnant first.
Yeah,
and how she was like, that should have been me, and everything. I was like,
Portia is self-centered.
Like, what the hell?
Portia has been self-centered. She will always be self-centered, and I feel like the people in Portia's life know that about her, and are also similar to how she is. So, Shamia, stop crying about it. If you know how that girl is and she behaved that way, then don't stay around and continue to get upset. Move away from it. I don't get it.
It's trash. Portia go to Africa the summer of Panani, and Shamia is that girl. She got a house. She got a little daughter. She didn't do none of that. push. Oh damn! It is the denial for me. It is. It's the denial for me. It's the fact that you have Portia don't see shit, but she don't see past her own nose. That's her
He
problem,
doesn't. Yep.
and that's her problem. So speaking of Portia, because I'm gonna end this live, 'cause I gotta go. But speaking of Portia, we finally get to see her home, and it is a beautiful home. I will say that, Sammy, you did well. That is a beautiful home. So she has her mom come over, Miss Diane. And so, because y'all ain't gonna let this pizza, every time I see Diane, I think of pizza. I do. But so Diane comes over and Portia says that they finally, her and Salmon finally got a court date. And for those of y'all who don't understand, Shani in my comments here gave him the nickname Salmon, and I've kept it ever since because that is hilarious to me. But they finally got a court date, and she wants the judge to enforce the prenup. Because in enforce the prenup, that means they get everything 50-50. But to me, I feel like Portia got better than 50-50. Now that we know in real time today versus when this was filmed months ago, Portia got more than 50-50. And I think that's because he's not a citizen and he's not, able to come back to the country and live. I think that's why she got more than 50-50. Because Portia gets to keep the house, her Rolls Royce, she gets $40K a month in spousal support. They didn't say how long she was going to get it for her. If I had to guess, because she was married 15 months, the judge is going to give her 2 years of it. And she also got to keep like other things as well. So I'm just like, damn, even in her at a moment, she still won. Oh, y'all, hey, Morgan, what is girl? But how'd you feel about the scene with Miss Diane and Portia talking about her, divorce?
Well,
Naya.
The 4th of July, you guys, it's on Friday. I don't really care for it, but I'm happy I'm going to have the day off with pay. Well, how else do I feel about that scene? In Oakland, California, currently, according to Siri, it's 63 degrees, but it feels like 68. I got an A on my last research paper on the implications
Yes.
of counseling. Yeah.
Oh God, I love it.
Y'all, I even lost 3 pounds.
Oh, girl, you better go ahead.
I'm on a low carb diet, y'all. So, and I'm happy to see James today. So that's how I felt about that scene. That's what I got.
Well, there y'all have it. Well, that was Real Housewives of Atlanta season finale. I am going to get Shana up here at some point because we got to talk about our reunion predictions. So I don't think Shana's in the live with us today, but Shana, if you watch the replay, I'm gonna be hitting you up so we can do a live. I also want to have another live where we talk about Phaedra because I now have a difference of opinion of Phaedra in that reunion. I do. I kind of have a difference of opinion now because I'm watching Phaedra, watching Portia. So we're going to have another live where we're going to do an unpopular opinion. And I'll let you guys know what that topic is. And I hope to see you guys all there. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. Love you very much. Thank you guys all for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you, Shani, Naya, DM Rocks was in here. April Morgan, I've not seen you on my channel, but thank you so much for being here. I hope you subscribe to me. If you guys are new to my channel, please subscribe to the video, especially if you like what you saw. And let me know your opinions. I really want to know, do y'all think Phaedra had a part in this or did it solely or how do y'all feel about that? Let me know what you think, and we will definitely talk about this in the reunion part 1. I will see you guys there. And like Naya said, please like the video on your way out. And thank you guys for being here and have a great one. Bye-bye.